On a recent episode of the Decoding the Gurus podcast, they were skewering one of the trigonometry geezers. I think it was the Konstantin one, the little Russian guy, because on his show on trigonometry, he made a statement where he was like, "Look, I'm not a conservative, but I'm very partial to the small government idea." And then he proceeded to rattle off a bunch of conservative talking points. And this seems like a very common theme where a lot of people are in denial about the fact that they're clearly conservative. In Sopranos, where he's like, Tony's like, he's a fag. You're not allowed to say that word anymore, but I'm quoting The Sopranos. It seems obvious what's staring in front of people, yet they've got no idea the fact that they're leaning a little to the righty tighty, and that's fine. And there's a few reasons for it. We've all heard the phrase, "If you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative when you're old, you have no brain." That's a given. And I think what we need to remember is that like age 30 to 50 is the crossover period. So when you're younger, a lot of people grew up with conservative fathers. I know I did. And there's nothing like countless hours of talk back radio to make you sick of conservative bullshit. So when you're younger, you don't have anything unless you come from generational wealth. There are the rare exceptions who are corporate ladder climbing cocksuckers from an early age, the Jordan Belfort prototypes. Some of those people exist, but most young people don't have a lot and they still have a heart. So they lean left and maybe they're rebelling against their conservative parents. Then they get a little bit older. You hit age 30 and you're like, hang on, I've started to amass a few shekels in my bank account here. Why is the government taking so much of that shit? And then insert whatever cope you want in respect to why should they get my money. Um, to be clear, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I don't give a shit. In the immortal words of Louis J. Gomez, the Puerto Rican rattlesnake, politics is gay, which I stand by. But yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon to observe where a lot of people are leaning right. And yeah, there's the age 30 to 50 crossover period where you start to get those feelings when you hit 30. And it really takes until I think people start looking like conservatives. Like when women hit 50, they start to really come into their own looks wise as fully fledged Karens. Likewise with men, there's this billboard near where I live here in North Buckhead for this conservative radio guy called Bortz, Boortz. And I looked him up. I think his name is Jeff Bortz. He's been on the radio here for fucking like literally 40 or 50 years. He's a libertarian, and you can just tell exactly what his politics are from exactly looking at his constipated expression on the billboard. And he's just wagging his finger. He's like looking at you saying, "Don't take my tax dollars." And so, yeah, I think by that stage where you're like, men are no longer fuckable. You spent years plotting away in some futile middle class existence and you're angry and your kids are fuck ups. So you take it out in the world through becoming a fully fledged conservative. Um, and yeah, so I think that that's what a lot of people are waiting for. It is just pretty bizarre, the cognitive dissonance, people to be rattling off conservative talking points. And the most egregious offenders are people like the Weinsteins or Joe Rogan. Jordan Peterson is not only rattling off conservative talking points, he's straight up and down. He has straight up and down fascistic inclinations and recommendations. So he's next level in terms of like, but I'm still a liberal. Jordan, you're encouraging another Crystal Knocked. You just suggested we all do Crystal Knocked the sequel. That's a little unfair, but not so much. And really, I think what's happening is that Trump. It all leads back to Trump as well because he is essentially fucking old mate Darth Vader, the epitome of evil. And so, therefore, if you declare yourself to be a conservative or a Republican, right leaning in any way, shape, or form, a lot of people in the middle who aren't really conservative, sorry, liberal, or have any, they're kind of apolitical. They'll hear the fact that you lean right and just assume that you love your Trump bootlicker, and that's the way that you subscribe to all his everything that man has said, which I know is not the case. I think people should just be more honest, come out and say, because if you really want to kind of combat Trumpism, that's how you got to do it. You got to have people being more forthright and saying, yeah, I'm a conservative for reason X, Y, Z, as opposed to being saying, well, I'm not a conservative, but here is 10 reasons why I think conservative. Here's 10 reasons why leaning right makes me feel funny in the funny place. Yeah. So anyway, have fun out there, kids. And I might call a spade a spade. Next time someone starts saying this, being like, look, I'm not a conservative. I'm gonna say, cut this shit. It's just you and me. Let's let it all hang out. I won't judge you if you don't judge yourself, bitch. All right. That's enough for one day.